Imagine being a young, newly crowned king of an entire nation, bearing the weight of thousands of lives on your shoulders. Then, on a special night, God appears to you and says, "Ask for whatever you want." What would you choose? Wealth, power, victory over your enemies? The choice of a king in Israel would shape not only his reign but the destiny of an entire nation. And what he asked for was beyond anyone's imagination. This is the story of Solomon, the wisest and most powerful king, but also one of the most tragic. Get ready, because this journey will reveal secrets and lessons that could change our lives. The story of Solomon begins in a unique way. He wasn't King David's oldest son, nor was he the favorite to take the throne of Israel. But God chose him. Solomon was born for something great, something he couldn't yet imagine. With just a few words, God placed him in a unique position, but one also full of responsibility. Solomon, however, was young and inexperienced, and the throne of Israel was no mere seat of honor. It was a divine calling, a mission that would demand more than he could ever imagine. Then, on one memorable night, as Solomon was surrounded by the pressures and challenges that seemed insurmountable, God appeared to him in a dream. "Ask for whatever you want me to give you," the Lord said. Instead of choosing the path of typical kings, Solomon asked for the impossible: wisdom. Solomon's choice of wisdom is one of the most surprising decisions in the Bible. He could have asked for fortunes, an unbeatable army, or the destruction of his enemies, but he chose something completely different. He knew that without wisdom, he wouldn't be able to lead his people, make fair judgments, or follow the path God had planned for him. And God, seeing Solomon's pure heart, granted him not only wisdom but also wealth, honor, and a prosperous reign. This wisdom guided Solomon to make decisions that are still remembered and taught today. The case of the two mothers disputing the maternity of a child and Solomon's shocking solution to split the baby in two is a famous example of the depth of discernment that God granted him. His decision revealed the true mother, saving the child and leaving the nation in awe of their king's ability to judge with justice and compassion. But not everything was glory. As years passed, Solomon, surrounded by riches and alliances with other nations, began to drift from his commitment to God. The king who once asked for wisdom now found himself ensnared by pleasures and political alliances. He began forming ties with pagan nations, marrying foreign women and allowing idolatry to enter Israel. This was the beginning of a slow but destructive spiritual decline that would not only affect him but also compromise the entire nation. The highest point of Solomon's reign was the construction of the Temple in Jerusalem, one of the most significant spiritual and cultural milestones in Israel's history. This temple symbolized the presence of God among the people, a place where everyone could come and worship the Lord. But behind the glory, the temple also carried a warning. God made it clear that if Israel abandoned his laws, that temple, no matter how magnificent, would be destroyed and the nation would suffer the consequences. Solomon knew this, yet he allowed his devotion to slowly stray. And so, the wisest king found himself on a path to downfall. His wisdom had become a burden, as he now tried to balance his love for God with the alliances and riches he had accumulated. His story, which began as a tale of faith and obedience, was turning into a warning about the dangers of drifting away from God. Solomon's story teaches us that true wisdom comes from a heart fully surrendered to God, but even the wisest among us can fall when we lose focus. Solomon, who began his reign with humility and devotion, allowed his heart to be divided between his love for God and the pleasures of this world. His downfall is a warning. No matter how blessed we are, there's always the risk of straying from God's purpose if we don't remain strong in our faith. Like Solomon, we are all called to make choices that reflect our faith and commitment to God. Let's remember that our choices affect not only our lives but also those who come after us. If you want to continue this journey and discover more profound lessons like this one, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Here on The Guardians of the Word of God, we're always exploring stories that reveal eternal truths and inspire us to live with purpose. May God bless you, and see you in the next video.